And hello, everybody. Good to see you guys. Good to see all our friends in here. Welcome to another post disclosure with PJ Thomas. And we're going to be just reviewing some of this news that's going on. So much stuff going on. So much stuff going on, guys. All this activity, all this news, hearings, people seeing things. There's posting everywhere on social media with people posting orbs and things they've seen in the sky and all kinds of stuff, all kinds of crazy stuff out there. And by the way, there's definitely AI stuff going on. People are posting stuff that is AI generated. But there's always going to be some of that now that we live in this world we live in now, right? Guys, do us a favor. We are on the new channel, so please share this out, tweet it out, post it out wherever you guys post. So thank you for that. That really helps, guys. That really helps. Actually, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second here because I want to make sure. Let's see. I want to make sure I post this out. 1 second. And I think that, let me just make sure we post this out ourselves. Give me 1 second. All right. So as I do this, we're going to be talking about, you guys have all heard about JP Missions, right? That's his name. We get all kinds of friends. Well, we're not friends with JP, but we got all kinds of friends and acquaintances. Tim Tactics and JP Missions and all these people, and with kind of funky last names. And of course it's for their privacy. So understandable, very understandable. And we definitely don't want people to give up their privacy. All right, there we go. So let's see who's in here before we get started. And hello to everybody. Yes, of course, he's in here. Of course, he's in here. There he is. I thought you'd be using the other account, though, my friend. I'm Lisa already. Yeah, I bet you are. That's my kind of alien. Hey, John Beagle Dad. Good to see John Beagle Dad in here. How are you, my friend? Awesome to see you. Our friends over there on the other channel. Lovely Sherry. Thank you for joining us, lovely Sherry. And Angler Boys are over there. Good to see you guys and everybody who's lurking. And hello to everybody. So let me just talk about what we're going to talk about. So, as you guys know, Dr. Michael Salla has a very interesting channel, and he's linked below, right? He's linked below. Dr. Michael Salla has lots of interesting guests on his channel, and one of the people that he has had on a lot, one of the people that he has had on quite often is JP with all these updates. And so JP Missions is a recently retired U.S. Army personnel. And he has been recounting over the last couple of years his experiences to Dr. Salla. And excuse me, let me just shut off all these notifications. All right. So we have been So he's been recounting all his experiences to Dr. Michael Salla, and if you guys, you guys might recognize him from the thumbnail that we did here, right? And let me just put up the thumbnail. You guys might recognize JP from, well, recognize him from his. He's been wearing that helmet for a while now. He's just wearing like a ski mask. But we're going to be talking today a little bit about that move that President Donald Trump did about shifting the Space Command from Colorado to Huntsville, Alabama, and we're going to look at an article here. So all right. So this is a Reuters article, and Trump moves. You guys are seeing this, right? Yeah. Okay. Trump to move Space Command headquarters to Alabama from Colorado. Now, that is really interesting. I think it probably shocked a lot of people, right? It probably shocked a lot of people, but with all the repositioning that's going on, and it may have a lot to do with just control. It may have a lot to do with several other different things, and it may have a lot to do with being practical, pragmatic with what they want to do. But it might also have to do with the fact that with control, right? To maintain control of Space Command, and the only reason I say that is because there's always nefarious players in the game, right? But hey, Larlam, good to see you. Arimba muchachos. It's not a political channel. It's not. And hello, Brother Lee. Good to see Brother Lee. So what we're discussing, and it's not a political channel. What we're discussing is the fact of the moving of the Space Command. And for all you guys out there who have been following the whole JP Dr. Salla conversations on Dr. Salla's channel, and Dr. Salla's channel is also linked below, so make sure you guys are subscribed to that. We're gonna take a little bit of a look at some of the comments that were made on both JP's channel and Dr. Salla's channel. I want to first go to Dr. Salla's channel, and we're going to see just watch a little bit. And it's a very long interview, and I urge people who are interested in this kind of thing to go ahead and check it out. Tariffs on extraterrestrials. No. Tariffs on I don't think so. Not that if there were tariffs on extraterrestrials, I'm not sure we would hear about it. Actually, no. Let's see. So we want to go to Dr. Salla's channel. All right. So I'm going to share. Now this is way before even JP started wearing the helmet. Again, JP, for you guys coming in, is a recently retired Army personnel who's involved in some level in secret space programs. And what JP is going to be talking about now, what JP is going to be talking about here is this connection with Trump's decision to move all this stuff to Huntsville, right? And the reason we're going into this is because there is insight here as to some of the activity that's probably going on in Huntsville, under Huntsville, I should be saying, under Huntsville. So let me link this article. And again, Dr. Salla's channel is linked below. So we're going to listen a little bit to the interview that Dr. Salla had with JP. Let's see. All right. This is Dr. Salla's channel. This is the old setup before they were going on camera. So, all right. We're going to listen to a few minutes. And basically, JP at the beginning is talking about his. We're going to listen to a few minutes. He's talking about his entry into this base. So let me see if we got at the right spot here.
We're heading north, back up there to Alabama and Mississippi. So I noticed on the way we were picking up people, and I noticed that there were pilots, there were officers, there were pilots, different types of pilots, and even pilots from different countries that they told me not to talk about which countries were part of this type of exercise, this type of mission. Well, it's more like a training type / mission exercise. So the bus started getting full.
So let me just say here. So JP has his regular his regular Army activities. This is right before he retired. He has his regular Army activities, right? Actually, I'm not sure if he had retired already. No, I don't think he had. He's got his regular Army duties, and then he gets pulled away for this like secret stuff. And he fits it all in together, basically, in this lifestyle.
Full of people. Everybody was quiet. Everybody started talking in the back, and then the wave of everybody talking started talking about like where you from, why you here. Everybody had an idea, but me personally, I didn't know where we were going. So there was a lot of people, like a total of 32 in a 44 passenger bus, and we drove off. We drove off to North Alabama, in that area by Mississippi, to a cavern. We enter into this tunnel. It was really, really tight. I don't know how the bus driver took it in there, but if you could put your hands out of the bus, you could feel the rock.
Now, I don't think those are actual images. They might be images that he took, but I don't think they are actual images of. So, now we all hear these things we all hear these stories, especially lately, as of all this underground infrastructure being built, right, in the last several decades. And so it's not surprising that all this underground infrastructure exists, especially near military installations. And the funny thing is that they're talking about moving for the spaceman from Colorado to Huntsville, and Colorado is notorious. There's notorious rumors of Colorado having crazy underground infrastructure, right? But I was going to share something. All right, forget. Let's listen.
On the side, so it was like 3 feet in one side and 3 feet by the other side. That's how tight it was. So making a slight turn, the bus actually, you could feel it like scratching a little bit. And the guy that was driving was like, "Oops, sorry." Everybody was like laughing when the guy was doing that. It was really interesting. So we go into this cavern, and he parks into this bigger place.
We hear when we hear some of these stories, right? We hear a lot of this similar thing about tunnels and caverns opening up into these even larger spaces. And we've heard a lot of that, right? And people who are interested in this kind of material content.
Did notice the bus going down in the type of ramp style, and everybody was there excited. Like everybody knew, and me personally, I did not know, but it looked like the other people knew what was happening. So when we get to this cavern and we get out, in the distance, there's like a tubular cave that you walk through, and it had lights. And we had to pass through these doors made of like metal. And these doors had insignia on it. And the insignia looked like a flying saucer. And on top, it had another language that I did not recognize. I did not recognize the language or the writing on top of this insignia that looks like a UFO.
Yeah, Larlam. That's a good way to put it. Colorado's like a Swiss cheese of underground amount of underground tunnels and caverns. Absolutely. Sorry, guys, I didn't realize I wasn't sharing it before the image, so it's up now. Obviously, you guys could hear it, but I wasn't sharing the image.
The door opens, and then one by one, we enter. I did not know nobody that was there. I think I remember the driver. I seen him a couple times here and there, but I didn't see no other people around that I knew. I noticed people talking in different languages. I did not recognize different language, something like Arabic or maybe Hebrew. I'm not sure. But there was other languages there as well, other pilots there from different places. I guess they decided that this was for everybody to meet up and go to this place. So I asked one of the guys behind me, I said, hey, I'm not a pilot. You know, I've flown plane here and there, but I'm not a pilot. You know, he says, I'm not a pilot either.
So let me just to clarify for some of you guys who are not familiar with JP, he is his inclusion in some of these in the secret space program has to do with some of his abilities, which I think is fascinating. Also, JP is not a whistleblower, right? He's not whistleblowing anything. He's got permission to talk about certain things in certain venues, right? Like on Dr. Salla's channel, like on his own channel, like on social media. I mean, he's not out there. Like it's not like he's out there on the big networks, and that's what this whole disclosure thing, this slow drip has been about, right? And we've seen a lot of this. Tim has talked to us about this. Tim Tactical. This disclosure is going on in a way where it's hitting certain part of a small part of the population in a very direct way. Then again, the people who are being exposed, right, have a high level of interest in this, and so they're already desensitized to this, like everybody in here, for example, right? Like everybody in here. So I want to thank you guys for being in here. And again, this is the new channel, so please share it out. Appreciate it. All right, let's listen to JP.
So I kind of got confused because the people that were picking up most of them were pilots. So it was a mixture of different types of people that were there. And we entered into this place where we're going one by one. And then that room where that metal door that had the insignia of the flying saucer, I enter it and my whole body started vibrating. And then it stopped. And then you can hear like in an intercom type of a voice, okay, keep walking, keep going, keep going. So it was guiding us to keep going, keep going. So we enter.
Now let me say I want to address Larlam's question here. And James, does he have accent? He has a slight. He's Latino. He's a slight. You know, he's bilingual and he's trilingual. Actually, he speaks Portuguese as well. So that's what you're noticing. His rank. You know, it's interesting because a lot of these things, a lot of times, a lot of these people who are being cleared in certain conditions to talk, they might be, they might be all ranks, right? And actually, he has a low rank. I think he has a low rank. I don't remember JP's rank. I wasn't sure if it was a specialist or I don't want to say because I don't remember. It's not a high rank. I don't think he's not an officer. But again, the people's involvement in some of these programs also has to do, in certain cases, with people's ability. If it's true that he has certain ability, and he's talked a lot about that he has some innate abilities, right? Or his either that or some of his genetic profiles a certain way or whatever it may be, right?
Into this big cavern with flying saucer ships already floating. And they were lined up similar to the port that I went to. I think this was the same area, but it was in a different part of this type of base. But these ships were high up. They were at least 20 to 30 feet high, and they were floating and humming. Zoom, zoom. And they were all humming and using, like, all in the same time. Sometimes there was one of them that hummed different, and then it entered into the same frequency, the same hum. And then under these ships, there were Nordic guys aligned to each ship. And then the pilots, they were running to each Nordic that they knew. So there was at least 30 to 40 ships that I was looking at that it was floating. And I asked the guy next to me, I says, hey, what's happening here? He's like, oh, no, it's a type of training that they do.
So feel free to share your reactions to some of this content, guys. Good to see Positive Candor in here, by the way. Good to see you, Positive Candor and Manhands and Brother Lee and Larlam and all you guys in here. And guys, make sure you're subscribed to James Manhands Ricart from James Manhands Ricart from Seinfeld, our friend there from the famous Manhands. Dr. Adega, outlaw, lurking indeed. Hey, Dr. Adega. Arg, you want to do the honors? You want to do the honors, Arg? I don't know. Dr. Adega, there he is. You want to do the honors, Arg, for Dr. Adega?
These are our newly arrived surgeons, Doctors Trowbridge and Greenbaum.
Doctor?
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 And doctor. Well, we miss anyone?
Nah, we're all here. Now that Dr. Adega is here, we're all here. We can start now for real. Thanks for saying hi, Dr. Lurker there. And James mentions here Nordic, like a Viking. Well, they're Nordic. They're Nordic looking, Nordic features. They're tall they're tall human beings usually. They look very human, right? I don't know, Dr. Adega. Sometimes and I've listened a lot to Linda Moulton Howe, and sometimes the Nordics and the tall whites are not necessarily the same. What do you think? Are you sure you want to equate them? Nordic, like an African immigrant. I'm not sure what that means, Larlo. Um, so, Dr. Adega, Nordic, as in, so this has come up. I've seen this come up a lot. This equating the Nordics with the tall whites, and I've seen some people not equate them, right? Like people like Linda Bolton Howe, for example, distinguishes between them. So I wonder if you want to elaborate on that, Dr. Adega. I can't positively say, but it's all I've noticed. Gotcha. Yes, they're from southern Sweden. Okay, they're from southern Sweden. Yeah, you're Troy. You're done already with your stream. Okay, my friend. Yeah, I got to stream when I got to stream. I didn't even realize it was while you were streaming. I'll call you after, buddy. All right, let's get back. So yeah, that is an interesting conversation for another day. By the way, the Nordics and the tall whites. I think that that is an interesting conversation to have for another day.
They train the pilots to fly their ships.
3 reasons to start Tai Chi workout this summer. In 1 week,
guys, 3 reasons.
See your energy.
And I'm like,
3 reasons to start Tai Chi workouts. Okay, there we go. Let's continue.
And I'm like, wait, what do you mean they train the pilots to fly their ships? So yeah, the Nordics, they take the pilots and they're training them how to fly these ships. And I said, to train how to fly these saucer kind of ships? So yeah, they have to be connected with their Nordic, and the Nordic, they train them how to use it. So I was like, wow, this is exciting that I'm seeing this. So once the pilot approaches the Nordic being ET, the Nordic raises his hand and the ship starts coming down really slow. And when it's like on top of their heads.
Now, I want to add here, guys, that there is oodles of there's oodles of information out there about people controlling a spacecraft telepathically, and also that spacecraft in many ways is also sentient, right? And so I'm just trying to point out these are starting to be some very common themes in lots of this content out there. That's kind of where JP is direction JP is discussing.
They just disappear. They go into the ship, but they disappear so quick into the ship that I couldn't see no entrance or nothing. But the pilot was holding on to the Nordic, was holding on to his wrist. So when the ship came down to their head, they just went into the ship. So one by one, you can see the ship picking up the pilots and leaving the cavern system. And then while they were leaving, I could see the ship turning into different colors and mimicking the same color of the cavern.
Now, let me address something here. Thank you for this comment, Lauren. So without the Nordic hybrids, extraterrestrials as a liaison, humans can't pilot those vessels. That's a good question. I think that certain people can pilot them. And what JP is actually, this whole interview, because we can't play Dr. Salla's whole interview. And we want to send you guys over there to check it out. The link is below. Basically, what the Nordics are doing here at this base is they're teaching human pilots and some of these pilots are not necessarily aviation pilots, right? Some of these so some people who are going to be piloting these ships are not aviators. Some are, but some aren't. That's kind of the conclusion after this interview, and of course other content out there suggests the same thing. Now, if this whole question that Larlam is posing here is very Stargate. It's very Stargate SG-1, Stargate Atlantis, right? This whole thing about having to have either a certain innate skill, innate ability, or having to have some kind of genetic marker in order to, or both, right, or all the above, in order to pilot the ship. This is all these topics come up, so I don't know how to answer this question. I think I think it could be interesting to see this whole interview if you haven't seen it yet. So the Nordic are like Uber drivers, and they keep track of the space travel parking life valley guy. Do they wear red vests? Man hands out there being the funny comedian. Guys, make sure you're subscribed to Man Hands. Man Hands, he does his videos just with his hands. Of course, he's Man Hands from Seinfeld. He's the guy who was all in Jerry's face. What's the vessel specs, maneuverabilities, armament, cargo, capacity, speed? I would love to know. Those questions and answers. I would love to know those. Larlam. Now, apparently their maneuverability is amazing. Their armament is I don't know how to answer that. And the cargo capacity, apparently, well, first of all, they're in a state of anti-gravity, which apparently, from what I've heard, weight is not an issue, right? Weight is not an issue. Now, they're volume wise, I've also volume wise, there are bigger ones and smaller ones. Now, that being said, we've also, heard this, Doctor Who TARDIS scenario where sometimes they're bigger on the inside, right? So I guess size doesn't matter. But all jokes aside, and speed is they're like defying laws of physics because they're in some kind of bubble where they're behaving outside of our, they're behaving outside of our regular 3D space somehow, right? Those are all awesome questions, my friend.
So they kind of disappear. And I'm like, holy shit, is using like a type of cloaking type of style of mimicking, the cavern. That's awesome. So it actually looked like a mist. It turned into like a moving mist. It was quite interesting looking at that and looking at the ship doing that, because it put me to thinking like, man, how many ships it's out there that we can't see? And they're moving around and we just can't see because they're mimicking the clouds or they're mimicking the blue sky. And they just look like mist, like a heat wave type of style when it moves. It looks like a heat wave mist. It's incredible. It's amazing.
So I just wanted to confirm, okay, so this happened on Monday, April 15, this mission, and you're pretty sure that it was the same cavern complex in that Alabama region where I think it was about a year ago you described going to this giant spaceport and there were all these Nordic ships and they would go up through.
So this is not the first time that JP that's right. I have to point that out. It's not the first time that JP's talked about this huge cavern complex in Alabama where there's basically, you know, huge UFO base underground, right? If they're so super duper advanced, what they need with us, we're the retards of the hillbillies of the galaxy, my friend. Is that what you're saying? The hillbillies of the galaxy. I think that, and listen, I do want to point something out here, and this has nothing to do with Larlam's comment. But we heard Dr. Salla had a guest on the other day who's this so-called Buddhist guest, and I say so-called because he had all the intellectual, doctoral, you know, academic degrees to be a Buddhist teacher, but and I'm sure he's a very bright guy, nice guy, but the humanity, there is a spiritual side to all this. There is some kind of uplifting of humanity on a deeper level that is going on here, and there is more going on here. There's more going on here, and do they need us? I don't know if they need us or we need them. I think it's probably mutual benefit, and I think that humanity is going through a growing phase, right? And for many years, for all our history, humanity has been held back by not by the Vulcans, all you Trekkies out there, but humanity is been held back in many ways. You know, our friend Tim Tactics talks about the installation and other things. So humanity is being held back by the system, right? The system that's been set in place. I think that as people liberate from the system, right? As people liberate from the system, we become a contributor to the galaxy, right? And this whole thing about, you guys heard me say before about you know, Star Trek and the Orville not being just science fiction, but part of a deeper disclosure, right? And it may be intentional and maybe not intentional, right? But do they need us? Do we need them? I think this is an inevitable growth phase that we're going through, Larlam. And I think Larlam knows more about that than he'd like to share. Maybe you can fill us in, Larlam. But I think that humanity is going through this inevitable growth phase. And this is just part of the process. Part of the process is meeting our brothers and sisters who are out there, or even not so far away. They might even be from inner or from alternate versions of Earth or from interdimensional, wherever they're from. But meeting brothers and sisters from all over, and getting to know them, right? And getting to interact with them and doing things together with them. And this is basically what's going on here. This is just a collaboration. I do think something that doesn't come up in this interview is something that JP talks a lot about, is the arcs that are spread around the Earth. These massive spaceships that are usually buried in the water. They also say there's one under the ice in Antarctica. So there is some inheritance of humanity in this whole process, and it's time for humanity to grow up, right? Hey, Maria, good to see you. Good to see Reverend Shinzai. All right. let's listen to a little bit more. And of course, we're just going to play a little bit more because I want you guys to go check out Dr. Salla's channel. We've only listened to a little bit, a little fragment. You guys got to go check out Dr. Michael Salla's channel and JP's channel.
The mountain that was underneath the mountain, and that they would go up through the top of the mountain where there was a light beam or a holographic light beam that would display entering and leaving. Okay, so that's the same base, or maybe you came into it from another entrance.
Yeah,
right?
we came in for another entrance, but yes, heading over there was the same way. So yeah, I'm sure it's the same base, but a different location of the base.
Okay.
It's a huge base.
Okay, and I think the last time that last mission to that underground base, I think you said that these were Nordic craft and that they were going to start revealing themselves. And so,
Yes.
Okay, so it seems like this mission that you just did on April 15, it's like this is where human pilots are going to be part of those ships going out there revealing themselves. Is that pretty much what the agenda is here?
I believe so, Doc. I believe that the time is going to come, or is here, that these ships are going to reveal themselves to certain kind of people, or maybe the news, or maybe to try to stop something that's happening.
And you mentioned that these pilots were kind of from all over the world. Some
Yes.
Now, I want to say here, pilots from all over the world. We've seen here, and Dr. Salla talks a lot about this on his channel, about all the countries that have joined the Artemis Accords in the past years. Now, what's also interesting regarding all this is all the countries that collaborate with regards to Antarctica as well. And there's a lot of overlap with all those countries. So Artemis Accords are something to look at here about which countries are being included. And of course, China and a few other countries have gone their own other way with this. Okay, we're listening for just a few more seconds, and we're gonna shift.
But there was more United States pilots, of course. Yeah, there was more United States pilots training with these types of Nordic beings. They were wearing uniforms, but everybody was in civilian attire. But the Nordic, they were wearing the Air Force type of uniform that I saw when I saw that particular Nordic over there in Orlando and made contact with me and asked me to go into the ship. And I said no, that I don't feel comfortable going into the ship. So I declined, and he left. And that's when I took the picture of that particular ship that was flying. And that's the same type of ship that I saw in these caverns, the one that's reflecting the trees in the bottom.
Okay, well, that's important.
Okay, so we're gonna shift here, and Laura, I can very safely say or disclose that we are indeed the returns of the galaxy. Don't ask me how I know that. The Anunnaki don't like it when I disclose information so openly. Listen, I don't think we are the hillbillies of the galaxy. I don't think we are the hillbillies. I think we are salt of the earth, right? In many ways. But we also have wonderful potential, my friend. I love Larlam's sense of humor. I really hope they haven't recruited pilots from Greece. We are notorious for crashing. Okay. All right. Let's hold on. We're gonna listen to a few more seconds and we're gonna shift gears.
Because you actually have photos. People always say, where's the photos proving any of this? You actually have a photo from that 2018 incident where that Nordic invited you to go on the ship. Okay, so these are the same ships. They're wearing the same uniforms. That this is a faction of the Nordics that works with the Air Force. Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. And the human pilots, they were different nationalities, so presumably some of those ships would just fly over the US. Other ships might be flying over the Middle East, over Russia,
or maybe they'll fly straight up into the spatial area and fly to wherever country wherever place that they desire.
Okay. We are going to shift gears here, and I really want to recommend whoever want to listen to the whole interview. It's interesting. And actually all of JP's updates, there's a lot. This one is update 33. There's more. There's a lot more. So make sure it's very interesting. All you guys who are interested in this topic, going to listen to JP's updates. Great stuff. All right, let's shift gears. I want to just take you guys quickly for a little bit to JP's channel. And so Trump's decision to Trump's decision the other day to move Space Command, as we were talking about. I vote to send Art to recon in Alabama and report back. We can clone him. Okay. I don't know. Let's see. I don't know what Arg is going to think about that. Arg knows a lot more. Arg knows a lot. He's told me a few things. Arg has told me a few things, but nothing I can talk about. And but he keeps most of the important stuff to himself. He's got like these agreements where he really, it's like, I really can't tell you this, Peach, Mr. Peach, whatever he says. So, anyways,
get on with it now, there, Mr. Page.
All right, too much information. I'm sorry, Art. Oh, Manhands is at the 99-cent store. Okay. All right. I want to take you guys now to JP's channel. And this time put it up, Peach. JP's channel. Okay. So so JP, we're going to watch the video, JP's last post, actually. And this channel, of course, is JP Missions, and it's called Confirmation Update. And this is about the move of Space Command, Trump's Space Command, to Alabama. And so JP has been talking about Alabama for a long time. He's been talking. This is why we're talking about it. Excuse me. So JP's been talking about Alabama for a long time, and the level of activity that's going on in Alabama is, bear in mind too, we should also say this too, that JP was stationed not too far, like he's in Florida, but he's stationed not too far from Huntsville. So everything kind of, makes sense, right? Fit these puzzle pieces fit well together. And this is what JP is going to talk about. We're going to just listen a little bit, and you guys can go watch the rest yourself on JP's channel. It could be worse. We could have transferred Space Command to Ohio. That's true. We could have done that. Trump could have done that. It's too cold in Ohio, right? All right. JP. There we go. You guys are seeing this, right? Okay. So this is JP. JP now is wearing just a ski mask, one of those Army ski masks, and that comes in all your gear. And he's been giving conferences all over base lately, by the way. And I urge people to go and subscribe to his channel. Please subscribe to JP's channel and Dr. Salla's channel. And let's just give a listen here.
I'm happy to be here to bring you more information. A lot of good confirmations are coming out. You know, a lot of confirmations are coming out in the news. Recently this happened in the news and Fox News. Hear this real quick.
I can't always say that, even if they're Republicans, and these are Republicans, great Republicans. I want to thank you all for being here for this important announcement, 7 years in the making. As you know, this has been going on for a long period of time, and I am thrilled to report that the U.S. Space Command headquarters will move to the beautiful locale of a place called Huntsville, Alabama, forever to be known from this point forward as Rocket City. Okay, so Huntsville, Alabama, we love Alabama.
Rocket City. Anybody? Any Alabamans in the house? Are you guys liking the Rocket City? Now, bear in mind too, a lot of people don't realize how much activity NASA has had over the aeronautical industry, aerospace industry has had in Alabama and in Huntsville for decades.
I only won it by about 47 points. I don't think that influenced my decision, though, right? That didn't, right?
So this is unbelievable
we had a lot of
confirmation.
competition for this. And
April 16th in 2024, I did an update 33 with Dr. Michael Salla.
And the update 33 is just what we had listened a couple of minutes of. And he's just saying that he's linked it below on his channel.
Put the link down in the comments for you guys to see, and also in book two, where I talk about underground cities, giants, and
now this is a book by Dr. Michael Salla where he is referencing JP.
Spaceports. Update 33. When I went into this spaceport and I saw Nordics, ETs, training pilots. They took me in the white van. I went on the white van and they took me into this place in Alabama. And it's like, I can't tell you the exact location, but I'm sure people will know where it is. Now we know that they're moving Space Force to Alabama. So this is a big confirmation.
Now, I think that I think basically what's one of the important things that's going on here is that when people, even though he's kind of been greenlit to talk about it, there's still some resistance apparently because he's had to go through a few scares and a few problems to be able to talk about it. So I think there is probably a great sense of relief to see the stuff that he's been sharing come out, on the major networks, right? Linking, not directly, but it's linking these places that he's been visiting in Alabama. So Maria says, I feel like we're the Walmart and they are the House of Bijan of Beverly Hills. And I don't think they need us except to laugh at. Okay. The Aleutian Islands says also Manhands. Well, there's Houston control and etc. Yeah. Now they have a lot of these operations. Just the way EADS in Europe is, they're spread out. These big operations are spread out in different places, right? Not everything is located. They have these hubs, right, of activity, of fabrication, of assembly, and Huntsville is one of them. It's always been one of them. So there's a ton of like NASA jobs in Huntsville, for example. All right, guys, I don't want to play anymore. I just wanted to make sure you guys are all aware of this. There's tons and tons of news. There's other stuff I want to talk about, but this is a handful today. So I want to thank, of course, Dr. Michael Salla for his wonderful work, and he's a fellow professor, and he gave up his regular teaching job to go and tackle all this a couple decades ago, and JP to JP for I think this guy is. I think to me he seems like a very authentic individual, and there's no reason for as of right now to think he isn't. So hats off to all these people for their work and for their sharing. So he needs to change his look. He looks like shiny helmet. He wore a black ski mask a couple times, and he changed it to an army green, to his army green mask. So, guys, I want to thank everybody for being here. You guys are wonderful. Such a blessing to be with all of you, and thank you, all you guys who've been. A lot of people have been lurking. All you guys have been in the chat commenting. James, Maria, Larlam, Brother Lee, Dr. Adega, Sherry, and Troy and Netter, and Mahans again, Positive Candor, and all you guys who've been in here, the Bangor Boys, everybody over at Orville Nation, John Beagle Dad, everybody who's been in here, guys. I want to thank everybody for a wonderful, wonderful discussion. And we try to keep these things, these post-disclosures about to an hour. So we're going to be back soon. There's lots to talk about. We want to talk about the New Paradigm Institute. There's lots going on. We talked the other day, we talked about Daniel Sheehan, the chief legal representation for the Jesuits in North America. And we're going to be talking a little bit about his other project with the New Paradigm Institute next time, I hope. And so they're so super duper advanced. What do they need us? We are. So Larlam insists that we are just the hillbillies of the galaxy, and they don't need us. We will. I think we're gonna have different. I think we're gonna have. My friend Larlam. I think we're gonna have varying perspectives on all this in the coming years, and I think it's interesting. Before we sign off, it's interesting that Daniel Sheehan talked the other day when we did this. He talked about the a very concrete 7-year disclosure plan. It's interesting too how direct Sheehan can be sometimes. I think there is also I think that also because the Jesuits fall under the the umbrella of the Catholic Church. I do think that and there is a head of state to that. I do think that and God willing that all the interferences that have been there for decades are leaving or gone. There's always been a lot of manipulation, right? So I think that that probably the from our observations, we talked a little bit about that. The Jesuits probably have a different set of rules for talking about this than other groups, right? JP has his own set of rules. For example, he's being allowed to talk to some degree, right? To some degree, and in certain areas, just like Tim has talked about, that he can talk about it in certain areas and in certain ways and certain topics. So everybody's got their own rule book, I guess, for what they can say and where they can say it. So, guys, I want to thank everybody again, and make sure you go and sub to Dr. Salla and JP. The links are below, and Wonderful, wonderful discussion. Thank you, all of you guys. Many, many blessings to everybody. And let me just check to see if there's anything else to say. And no, we're good. Guys, take care. Many blessings, and we will see you guys soon.